Hello, everybody. I'm Ernie Crazy Eyes from Music and Beyond. Welcome back to another episode. Tonight, I have a special guest from Dallas, Texas, I believe. ManifestiV. How are you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. I'm Paragraph Taylor, and Eve, the backbone of the whole enterprise, is also present like a fly on the wall. She's working on her art in the background. Uh,
Oh, hell yeah.
you've got the core duo here.
That's awesome. I'm really glad to have you guys on here. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah. It's pleasure is ours as well.
But I want to get started with, what we were talking about a little while ago. The name ManifestiV.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the name? Does it have a backstory? What can you give us?
Yeah, it's got a few stories to it. I mean, what it basically means now in our present and future is everybody's right they have to script and influence their own destiny. A lot of people are like, oh, I can't break through this because parents or job or religion or like geographical limitation or whatever. And we try to stand as proof to any and everyone that anyone can take control of their own path. I mean, you really can't control what happens circumstantially, but you can at least like control your reaction. And everybody can make a better life for themselves. They just have to break out of the feedback loop if something's not going their way. Like, man, this type of stuff always happens to me. We're trying to eradicate that knee-jerk reaction that a lot of society has right now. Like, oh, well, I can't do anything about this because no, that's not the case. Anybody could do anything, if you put your mind to it.
Yeah, I totally agree. 100%.
But yeah, as we're talking earlier, the side caps does confuse people, the capital M and the capital V. But it's a fun conversation piece because we've gotten all sorts of all sorts of interpretations of it. People thinking it's a Roman numeral.
I thought it was like manifest
Yeah.
5 or
Yeah.
is it? Yeah, it's 5, right? Because it's 1V or
Yeah.
IV.
Yeah. It's a weird kind of made up word, and the whole it became made up. This will date me. Way back in AOL, America Online.
Oh, damn.
Exactly. Yeah. My mom was like, choose a screen name. We got the internet. Oh my goodness. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. And I had a Beat Manifesto CD called Actual Sounds and Voices, and then Antichrist Superstar by Marilyn Manson, like laying next to each other. I'm like, Manifestiv? How's that? Oh dear, I'm sorry, there's no room for the E. Okay, just leave it at V. And that started every handle that every network ever came out with. Like Twitter came out, oh, ManifestiV. Facebook came out, oh, ManifestiV. Gmail, oh. And then years and years and years later, Eve and I are trying to come up with a band name in Vallejo, California. And we're like, what are we going to call this? And we're like, oh, we already have this name, this kind of shortcut URL for everything. So just make it the band name. And then it gave itself meaning as we played shows, and people were like, wow, you're like really inspiring me to take charge of my own life. And we're like, that is what this is about, isn't it? Okay. So the fans kind of ended up just giving it meaning there at the beginning. So it's a really cool, really cool story with a lot of different sides to it.
I'm definitely going to have to check you guys out next time I'm in the Dallas area.
For sure. Where around are you based?
I'm from the tip of Texas, man, so I'm like 8 hours away.
Like McAllen?
Yeah, McAllen.
Wow. That's insane. Yeah, we're trying to get some shows down there. We did a show at Gators in Corpus Christi last
Oh,
September.
nice.
It was really cool. We really liked the scene down there, and not a lot comes down there. So we know there's a band from McAllen called Desera. Have you heard of them?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, they came up and played Runes in Dallas a year or two ago, and we saw them. They just blew us away. They really made us want to go down there and check that out. So yeah, it's a race. If you can come up here, or we can get down there. Whoever gets to the other place.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait for that. And that was a crazy story about how the name came about. But I'm really scared of asking you this because I know it's gonna be probably pretty crazy. But who or what inspired you to, do the music that you do?
Well, a lot of early on, it was definitely Manson, Nine Inch Nails, Tool, Rammstein. Rammstein is definitely huge. Eve has a Rammstein tattoo, and we also do.
Oh, really?
Rammstein. Yeah, that's one of the first things I noticed when we met in mortuary school. We were studying to become funeral directors in Dallas, and one of the first things I noticed, I was like, oh my god, because they're one of my favorite bands ever. Now, one of the other things we do is we're in a Rammstein tribute up here, and
oh, nice.
And that's a lot of fun too. So those bands early on, and a lot of other like core bands from either side, like say the '80s, like Depeche Mode and The Cure, and like earlier, like Metallica, or definitely like as the '90s came on, like Pantera, and then Alice in Chains was a really huge one in the '90s, and then as the aughts came about and the 2010s, it was really a lot of our tastes and inspirations kind of changed to the electronic, which is like things like Boards of Canada. I mean, even more broadly known, like Radiohead. There's a group called Tel Aviv. They're amazing. So that kind of like rock industrial first, and then electronic shaped our sound, because that's pretty much exactly what it is. It's electronic, but we play guitar and vibraphone along with it. And when we can, we added some live members last year.
Oh, nice.
Whenever we can, we do like live drums and live bass. But each experience is unique, and we try to keep it. We try to keep it special. Like you never know what you're gonna get.
That's freaking amazing. I'm literally like blown away right now.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We've done a lot of touring over in the West, and are really trying to explore the areas of Texas we haven't seen. Like we're doing Taylor, Texas this coming Saturday, and that's a little outside Austin. That's going to be really interesting.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah. Really, I think they'll like you there.
Yeah, I think so too, man. Austin definitely digs this. I mean, Dallas has been really great. It was great enough to base here because we formed in Vallejo, California, and where was it? Like I think it was the end of 2014, the same year that we formed. There was an earthquake there, and aftershock kind of did some irreparable damage to our house that we didn't know about. And then we came back from vacation the next year expecting to renew our lease, and our landlords are like, hey, we asked FEMA if they would cut us a check to help us do these repairs. We're like, repairs? You guys needed repairs? What do you mean? They're like, yeah. And they said no, and they condemned the house. We have 60 days to leave. We're like, what?
That is insane.
It was a bummer, but we had a trailer. I think we got a trailer as a result of it, and we're like, you know what? Just okay. Well, the real estate prices in the San Francisco Bay Area at the time had just all shot up because Google, Yahoo, Facebook, Apple, everything were paying the programmers, as we affectionately refer to them, so much that like what we were paying just over $1,000 a month for was running for like $4,000 to $6,000 a month. Like within a few months, we're like, okay, this is unavoidable. So let's get on the road. And we toured for a few years, basing here in Dallas in the wintertime with family, and ended up getting a place up here in North Dallas a year and a half or so ago, and have been working on the new record. And Eve's been working on a lot of her art, and it's, you know, with stuff as high quality as the highest amount of quality we try to put out. It takes a long time. You know, you do like record like 6 songs, and maybe like 2 of them really call to you, and because like being experimental, you're just going as far to the outer edges of just how weird and like unique and different and new can you be. So a lot of it's like, okay, that really doesn't resonate with me. But then, like, you know, if you have a winner, like, wow, that one's awesome, and then we learn it with the band and start playing it live. But that's kind of what we're basing up in Dallas to do, is to do that enough to get a full record before we hit the road again for the next big chunk.
Oh yeah, and I'm interested in seeing those that art that your other half has of, you know,
Yeah.
to see, you know.
Yeah. Her Instagram has a lot of it. Instagram.com/Eve Walding _art. It's EVEWALDING _art. And it's a lot of stuff. It's random. It's from like a gremlin like holding a Hello Kitty bong to like right now she's working on this like amazing cat. we did a crowdfund for an animated music video we're working on. And one of the perks was get her to paint you something, and we had a fan from up in Vancouver, Washington technically, but right around Portland, Oregon. She donated amazingly and got this cat laying on a futon, and Eve's like, how about we change the background to like space? So she went and got all these pictures of like, you know, the Marfa lights and stuff offline, and then this cat is like just nestling in this blanket with a galaxy behind it, you know. So it's really really cool, the different art she does, and every single piece of album art we've ever had she does as well. So, and sells a lot of handmade art at our merch booth. It's crazy, you know. An $80 wood engraving will move a lot quicker than a $20 T-shirt, depending on where you're at. Because people are like, wow,
Oh wow,
at a show, this is amazing. You know, they don't expect to see that there.
yeah, definitely. That's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely. It's so different, and, you know, it totally, you know, blows the consumer's mind when, you know, there's art behind, you know, the music, or it doesn't even have to be connected, but I'm sure somehow there's a connection there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of the art that Eve does kind of ties into our general aesthetic, which is really kind of the merging of both ends of time and the present. Like her persona is really tribal, very like indigenous. She's half Puerto Rican, like from the Taino tribe, so that is very genuine. And then my half is super like futurist, like dystopian, post-apocalyptic, goggles, mask, everything, like, and you know, like, so distant past and distant future. Her art, one of the things she'll sell is like a fish skeleton engraving. It looks like a fossil. All these, we have all these on our website too that you can check out. So it, yeah, we try to marry the ends of time, right smack dab here in the present.
That's awesome. I'm definitely gonna have to do some research and, you know, check out all the stuff that you guys are doing besides the music. So we can get that out there so more people could see.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
And from what I saw is you guys played your first show in 2014 at South by Southwest. How was that experience?
That was definitely an unforgettable show. Not only because it was our first show, but man, everything. Yeah, of course, the sandwiches. So you're like, what? Yes, sandwiches. We we just built the vibraphone. So how the vibraphone came to be, I'd written a record here in Dallas. Then I moved out to Vallejo, showed it to Eve. I'm like, do you know anybody who would be interested in like playing on this? Because I don't want to do like a solo thing, but I don't want to spend the time it's going to take to like train a staff of a full band. And she's like, I played vibraphone in like high school, like I got scholarships and played in UIL competitions. And I'm like, vibraphone on industrial? Oh my God, that's amazing! Let's do it. She's like, yeah, okay. They're not easy to come by. They're like $4,000 to $6,000, brand new. We're like, ooh. So she looks on eBay and she found a $500 set of vibraphone keys. They survived a truck wreck. Some semi T-boned a marching band's trailer, destroyed all the brass, like tubas, everything. The only thing that survived was the vibraphone keys. So she got the keys and ordered to Vallejo. We drove down here to Dallas to my dad's wood shop in Irving and spent about 3 weeks building a vibraphone frame out of oak hardwood flooring. He was using for kindling. He was a remodeler, and he had a customer that ordered way too much and didn't, you can't return any of that back as like custom. So he's just using it for kindling. We're like, no, let's use that for a vibraphone frame because it's temperature and weather resistant. That'll be great for like, schlepping in and out of clubs and different weather for festivals and stuff. And it survived 152 or 153 shows now. But that first show, you could still smell the spray paint at the venue in South by. And
wow.
The morning of the show, we were both kind of stressing out because we hadn't learned all the songs that we'd written yet, and we were like trying to fill out a set, and we had like a couple covers ready to go with it too. And Eve had a panicking moment, taking a shower. She's like, let's just screw this whole thing. She's a great cook, like world's best cook. She's like, I'm just gonna make some sandwiches, and I bust out laughing. I'm like, oh, that's genius. So we did a typo negative cover of the song Red Water. You can still find it on our SoundCloud, I think.
Oh, nice.
And during the cover, she puts on like a Burger King kind of like hat, but it says Sandwich, WHICH ? And she's got this big frown on her face, and she spreads out like all these paper towels on top of the vibraphone when I'm singing typo negative, like super sad and like dreary. And she just has this miserable look on her face, making these organic peanut butter, like on rye with Nutella and organic preserves sandwiches, and just like with this terrible look on her face, this frown, just handing them to people in the crowd. It's supposed to be a piece on wage slavery. Yeah, exactly. It was just a commentary on wage slavery. People just expected to just kind of like show up and waste away hours of their lives. So she was like handing out these sandwiches to everybody in the crowd who were just like all drinking and like eating this amazing sandwich and looking at us like, what is going on? So anytime we play down in Austin, people are like, hey, aren't you that band that had sandwiches that one's out by? We're like, oh, how do you remember that?
You guys should totally bring that back at least once in a blue moon.
Absolutely. Yeah. We could. We're doing the next, not this weekend, but the next weekend. We're playing an experimental festival called Yeast by Sweet Beast. It's a weird name, but is it like the South by Southwest type thing? Yes. Yeah. It's like an experimental South by. It's a little 3-day thing just north of all the South by action in Austin, so we might have to bring it back for that, actually.
Yeah, you totally should, and it'll totally fit the weirdness of what Austin brings to the people.
Absolutely. we're closing up the festival too, so that'll be, after 3 long days. I'm sure people will want a sandwich to stop up some of what they so,
Oh
yeah.
man, you're making me want to freaking just go to Austin.
Yeah. Well, we got those couple shows, and we do have more incentive now, even to come down and play that Southern Tip, because Corpus is cool when we visited it, and I really want to go see McAllen sometime.
Yeah, it would be cool. Like, I mean, McAllen is 2 hours away from Corpus, but like if it's the beach stuff that you like, there's actually a beach down here too, South Padre Island, and yeah, but it's pretty much the same thing. There's a hotel, there's a lot of good food, there's
good music.
just a lot of different stuff that you can do here in the South.
Cool. Is there a lot of good any good music venues down there in McAllen?
Yeah, definitely. Good music venues. If anything, I'll probably talk to my boss and to our promoter and see what we can do to get you guys down here. Cause I work at a bar / music venue, so
Oh. Yeah, that'd be righteous. Make a weekend out of it, because we got a lot of interest down there, and we get enough dates together to help alleviate the gas in our trusty Speed. Is a humongous box truck we've named Bummobile. He's like Batmobile for bums, because
oh hell yeah, that's fucking cool.
You need a Phillips screwdriver? Cool, we got you. You need a propane stove? Cool, we got you. You need we've got everything he needs. Hence his name, Bummobile. But he's pretty huge. He's a 10-foot by 10-foot by 27-foot box truck. So we always have to explain to venues, be like, what kind of parking do you have? Oh, like they're in the street. But I'm like, dude, like what kind of parking do you have?
That's crazy.
It's always fun to come rolling up with him, and he looks like a satanic clown car. So.
Yeah, and while listening to your music, I saw that you guys did a cover to Radiohead's "Daydreaming." How did you guys come up with covering that song the way that you did? Because I really had to go back to listening to the song from Radiohead, and then kind of go back and forth from your song to their song to your song to their song. And it was a really good experience,
Dude.
and y'all did the song a lot of good, So can you tell me about the idea?
Yeah, for sure. We loved that album when it came out, A Moon-Shaped Fool, and it really struck us. I don't know if you saw the official Radiohead video, but
no, I just listened to the music.
Yeah, so the premise of the video, the whole story really struck us and struck a pretty deep chord in us. And also like how cool the little piano part was. We're like, oh man, that would sound awesome on vibraphone. But the story is Tom York had a girlfriend since the Radiohead singer, since before they even like broke, like when they were called On a Friday and where they were doing like college gigs before the Bends even. And then she broke up with him like right before A Moon-Shaped Fool came out, and it apparently was devastating. Apparently, he didn't take it well, because they were together for 26 years, and which at the time was half of his life.
Yeah.
So the music video has him walking through 26 doors, representing like a different year of their life. And at the end of it. At the end of it, we keep this in our cover too. I mean, we kind of twisted it and stuff to get around, copyright stuff, even though we do have it officially licensed. But he's saying the words "half of my life," but it's like looped backwards and like chopped and screwed,
Yeah.
So it's just like that deep of a trench of like heartbreak was like, oh my God, this is really powerful. So how can we make this darker? And that wasn't even a conscious thought. We weren't like, ooh, we're gonna make this like hit. But we just added the vibraphone. I took the vocals down one octave and I recorded them at my parents' ranch in Canton, Texas, and like Christmas night in the van with like just the iPhone headphones, and it was like 26 degrees, so you could hear that just like coldness in the vocal track, and it had made it really chilling. And you know, when we moved back up here to Dallas, we got really busy doing a lot of work and like catching up some debts of the tour and stuff, and we had just released a record, so we wanted to keep the momentum going. So we put out a couple remixes in that cover, and it seemed to do its job because it helped bring a lot of attention to it. And it's we play it live when we can too.
That's awesome. I bet that's a good hearing when you guys play it live for the fans.
Oh, for sure. We even, our last show on Leap Day at O'Reilly's, we were fortunate enough to have the 4-piece with live drums and live bass. And they're Ryan and Kevin are their names. They're with me and another band I'm in called Secret of Boris, and they we kind of jammed on it and added to it, just gave them the note progressions. So it was like it turned into even another completely different song when we played it with them. So every time we play it, it's definitely a unique experience.
That's awesome. I honestly can't wait to see you guys perform, because I love bands that can give me the the live aspect of it, but also give me the live experience of it, because not many bands could do that, and it seems like you guys are totally about the experience.
Absolutely. No, it's huge. I mean, there's attention spans barely exist these days, and everybody's buried in their smartphone, and time has like quintupled in value for everyone. So if anybody is like sharing that time and space with us, just chilling at a venue, it's not like, it was never really something to be taken for granted, period. But I think a lot of artists did, like towards the end of last century, because there was no internet, there was no Facebook, there was no Netflix and chill, and the American work week wasn't pushed as hard as what it is now, to where it's like 5 or 6 days a week, and like you get like 1 day to recharge. So now like nobody has the energy to go to shows anymore. So we have to make it worth it. Have to make it an experience that you always remember how it made you feel. So yeah, we try to make it worth everybody's while to like come out and see shows, because the United States original music doesn't quite get the support that it does abroad, because like say Europe, for example, a lot of countries in the EU itself, they will like mandate like a couple weeks to a month off a year, and like the work week there standard is like 4 days a week. So they're able to support music a lot more there because they literally have energy for it. Here in America, people don't. So that's super precious. Anybody.
Yeah, and not only that, but Europe and the UK and all those other places, they, when does their favorite band go to, that side of the town or that side of the world?
Right.
You have to go there, because you're going to have to wait a whole another year for, that band to go.
Exactly.
So they get more, they have to go so that they can see it. So, they can say like, oh, hell yeah, we saw it. And, I can't wait for the following year, whenever they decide to come back,
Yeah, it's definitely
we're
more
spoiled.
of a
Yeah, we're spoiled here in the States, so.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, so everybody, like, not a lot of people go out to shows because it's more readily available here. And that's one thing we're working on now too, along with writing, is how do I put this? Compressing our setup, because the microphone, it's not exactly easy to hop on a plane with. So we're actually building a smaller, more detachable vibraphone that could just be put in like guitar cases, and we take it over there overseas, because we have a lot of interest over there. We have friends in Germany that have housed us and shown us like different venues that are ready to have us come play. Yeah, whatever you guys can get over here, please. We got a place for you. But yeah, so there's that.
That's awesome.
We'll to Europe eventually.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so ready. But you know, we mentioned about going to shows and stuff, and you could catch ManifestiV starting March 7th, which is, we talked about it, to Taylor, Texas, March 7th to May 18th.
Yeah, there's a lot of options.
Yeah, I'm looking through the tour dates right now, and you're a little bit all over the place.
For sure. Yeah, we've got the Austin dates kind of this month. Next month we're going down to Houston a couple times, doing like a really cool date in College Station. One of the bands I'm really excited about playing with there is called Atari Matt, and he literally plays through like old Ataris. He's modded old Ataris to make them like a synthesizer. That's in Bryan, Texas. And then yeah, what else do we got a lot of stuff coming on in April. And then May
Richardson.
Yeah, Six Springs is really cool up in Richardson. They're a really cool place. Because downtown Dallas has gotten really tough to play. The Deep Ellum district it's kind of in a weird place right now, because there's, I mean, you've heard the term gentrification.
Yeah.
So there's kind of a needle, and every city goes through this. Like it starts at like terrible, like dilapidated ghetto crime rate, and nobody wants to go there. And then artists start to show up and like, oh, cool, it's cheap, and like we could get our art displayed here, showcased here, or make shows here. And then word gets out around about that, and then a real scene develops. But then money follows, and they're like, well, how about a restaurant? How about a boutique? How about a Urban Outfitters? How about a blah blah blah? And that's exactly where Deep Ellum is right now. Like it's gotten so successful that a lot of the venues are like kind of closing down and getting replaced by venture capitalists. A lot of retail is replacing a lot of the venues in downtown Dallas. So yeah, we're having to do the outskirts of Dallas more.
I went to the pizza place in Dallas at Deep Ellum, and then like a month later that place disappeared, and they said that they were gonna put it back, but I don't think they ever did. But that was probably one of the best pizza places I've ever been to.
Wait, was it Zini's?
I think so, yes.
Yes, Zini's was my go-to. They were across from trees. Now there's like a gourmet, like kind of coffee, like yogurt shop kind of thing there. This other place down the street called Sirius Pizza ended up putting Zini's out of business, because Sirius, they just went way far and beyond, and they made like huge pizzas, like 25-inch or something ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
Then their lines got like really long, and they were like kind of trendy there for a little bit, enough that they pulled business away from Zini's and then closed them down. That was kind of one of the first places that closed down. This other mainstay club in Deep Ellum called Curtain Club was open for years, and it survived that whole gentrification cycle, because like what happened last time this happened, once you get past all the retail spaces, then it attracted crime, and then a lot of people like stopped coming down there, so a lot of these places couldn't afford the high rents anymore, so they all closed down. This already happened once before, like in the mid-aughts. Like Trees closed down in like 2006, but then our good friend Clint Barlow, he came back in and reopened Trees in 2009, and then he reopened the Bomb Factory in 2014, I think it was, and he did a lot of reopening, but so the scene's like an accordion there. It's so geographically tight. And
all I gotta say is, I know we kind of went a little bit from music to food to different stuff, but that's what happens here. But Zini's was probably like one of the best pizzas I've ever tried. So
Dude, they're so good. Yeah, man. May Zini's rest in peace.
yeah. But will we be hearing new music from you guys this year? If so, do you know by when?
Live, yes. If you catch a show, we test a lot of the live material we're doing. Like I mentioned earlier, the election process for songs that even make it to the stage is pretty rigorous because it's like, here's a batch of 6 or 4, and like, okay, 1 or 2 sounds cool, and then we learn like 2, and then like one of them works, and then the other one really doesn't do anything for us, and then we start to test it live. And then once you change it from the practice space to the stage, it's like all bets are off, everything's out the window. For some reason, like putting something on a stage completely changes it. So as far as recording, yeah, we're trying to lay these down as we write them. We're our studio pro rehearsal in Dallas. We're hoping to do a few there, kind of get them down at least as demos, working with the live section we have as well this spring. But as far as releases this year, as much as we'd love to, we don't want to rush it, because we want to be sure and get something that can follow up. Sorry about that. Somebody else.
That's fine.
We want to get something that could follow up God is a Martian, but is longer than God is a Martian, because God is a Martian was an EP, just 6 songs, like right at 20 minutes. But that album was not only shaped after years of tour, but it was done in a big studio. It was done at Prairie Sun in Cotati, California.
Nice.
I don't know if you've heard of Tom Waits.
Yeah, I've heard of him. My friend introduced me to him.
Yeah, he's super, super, super cool, super like grungy, like almost experimental, like folk. He did a couple of his records there, Prairie Sun. Les Claypool from Primus, he does a lot of records up there. Green Day, 9 Inch Nails, Faith No More, a lot of big names went through that studio, and we, spent a pretty penny and sacrificed some things to be able to do that record. But we want to follow it up with something more obtuse, definitely longer, because God is a Martian is very potent. All the songs on it are real strong, and we don't ever want to put anything out with any filler. All killer, But we want to give the new release some time to kind of build up and make a story make sense, because we've got a concept for it, but it's pretty big. So yeah,
that's gonna be awesome, and like I'm sure like everybody else, I can't wait to listen to it.
We have the animated video for Just Wait off of God is a Martian. That will see the light of day before the end of the year for sure.
Nice. Yeah.
That's a huge endeavor. Like I said, we did a crowdfund to help pay for it. We actually outsourced it to an animation studio in Kazakhstan, of all places. Former Soviet Republic. So it's like a $20,000 video we can get done for like 5,000. And the concept was based totally, anything visual conceptually we do is Eve's idea usually. And she's storyboarded and drawn the whole thing and has a team of digital artists rendering everything. But it was inspired by the fires in Paradise, California, and has to do with it follows a couple of deer who are like suddenly, oh my goodness, their whole forest is on fire. What do? They run to a city, which ends up also being completely on fire. And then as we're animating this, we see all the news about Australia. We're like, oh my, wow, we didn't. This is like exactly like the video we're making, but it's already real life and it's already the news. What are we gonna do? But yeah, that'll definitely come out this year for sure. The Just Wait video.
That's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be huge, man.
And that leads to my next question. What are your plans for 2020?
2020, the release of the Just Wait video, as said, and that in May we've got a tour going to Kansas City and back. It's so funny, we nicknamed it the F6 tour, like,
Yeah.
as if it were a new category of tornado, too strong.
Oh, okay. Damn. Hell yeah. I didn't think of that.
It's right in the Great Plains, and we asked our tour mate, System 6, he's from Kansas City, and we were like, is this tasteless to joke about this? Because I know like people lost their homes and sometimes loved ones to this. He's like, no, we joke about it all the time. We have to because it is that scary. It's like, okay, cool. But it's 6 dates through Tornado Alley, Kansas City, Topeka, the capital of Kansas, Wichita, then Norman, Oklahoma, then Denton, then Dallas. So that's in May. Summer, say about August or so, we're going to be heading out west again. We've got a date at Bar Sinister in Hollywood, California. It's the biggest kind of golf club out there. They're really cool. We love them. They take care of us every time we're out there. That's on August 8th, and that will get us out to California for Burning Man, which we've attended and kind of worked at a few years in a row now, which is an incredible fortune and privilege and opportunity. So we'll be playing Burning Man this year and doing our due diligence out there. Definitely, for those of you that haven't heard of it, just Google Burning Man and spend about a few hours looking at pictures of lights in the desert. And then we'll after the Burning Man Festival, which is up in northwest Nevada. It's kind of like towards Northern California.
Yeah.
We will probably be doing Pacific Northwest before we end up back down here next winter to pick up where we leave off with the record when we leave. So
that's gonna be awesome.
Those are our plans for 2020.
Hell yeah. And do you have a message to your fans that you would like to tell them?
Just manifest your own reality as best you can. It might feel it's easy to feel hopeless and helpless if circumstances are working against you. But one of the biggest things we've felt make a difference with the manifestation of the lives that we want to lead is our reactions. If something emotionally is unsettling, makes you angry or makes you sad, don't ignore that emotion, but don't react with it either. Sit with it, recognize it, and then release it, and then react. Because things aren't always as they seem, and things aren't always out to get you, and things aren't if the type of people that are like, oh man, this type of bad stuff always happens to me, guys, don't do that. Be like, okay, this is a challenge from the universe that I could easily overcome. If it's your outlook is so much of what happens to you, because the universe will see how you respond to things thrown your way, and it'll be like, oh, okay, you'd like more positive stuff? We'll put more positive stuff your way. Because if you're like, oh, this always happens to me, all the universe sees is like, oh, okay, you want more of that? Okay, well, here's more trials and tribulations. Here's more difficulty because you manifested that it comes back. So don't do that. Manifest is a great reality, and if it, it's easy to seem overwhelmed by circumstances and by rhythms and patterns that you've been set into with your family or your job or with your friends or what have you. So yeah, meditate.
Listen to the man, everybody. This guy's speaking the truth right now.
It's hard. It is to not buy into that, to not be like, oh well, this kind of crap. No, you got to break through that ceiling and know that you deserve better, and you'll get better. And
hell yeah,
if you put that out into the universe, and if you act like you don't deserve better, then you won't. So just the choice is up to you how to react.
Yeah, totally. And that's an awesome message. But if you were stuck in, here's another question. If you were stuck in an elevator with any musician, dead or alive, who would it be and what would you talk about?
I think a unanimous answer would probably be David Bowie. Yep. Okay. Yeah, David Bowie, hands down. And we would talk about his time in Berlin in the late 70s, which we could really relate
Nice.
to, not only because we're trying to base in Germany ourselves, but him and Iggy Pop went there behind the Iron Curtain to escape the decadence and substance use and abuse of LA. They were both like newly sober, like off of like terrible things like heroin and cocaine and what have you, and we're just like, okay, we need to not be around that and just write music. So Iggy Pop and David Bowie and Brian Eno, their producer, went to Berlin in the late 70s, and within a year and a half, they put out 3 of his best records, Low, Heroes, and Lodger. And I would talk to them about those sessions. I would talk to them about how, you know, how what he faced in, you know, living a life of just kind of just under a haze of non-sobriety and then becoming sober and still writing and finding inspiration, because we stopped drinking a couple years ago, about a year and a half ago or so, and up here in Dallas, everything is like craft beer. This is just like shoved in your face, and you know we get a lot of weird asking for a coffee or a ginger beer at a bar, and it changes like where you hang out because the infrastructure is set up for it. So yeah, we would ask David Bowie, be like, okay, so how did you do it then? How would you suggest that we do it now? And then hopefully I can think of something a little better to say than that if I was trapped in an elevator with undead David Bowie, but that's a start for sure.
That would be a dope conversation though, definitely. And this is gonna be the last question, and you can add as much as you want. Where can we find you, and do you have any merchandise available?
Online, ManifestiV.com has everything you'd ever want to know about us, maybe a little more. Got a fully extensive bio explaining our whole story. You can find us on Spotify, on Apple Music. Our merch is available on our Bandcamp. It's just manifestive.bandcamp.com. That has a lot of things available on it. Not only posters from tours past and all of our shirts and stuff, but and records, but also a lot of the handmade art from Eve. We have those fish skeleton Dremels we talk about on there. I offer one-on-one lessons. Our store is chock full of options. We ship worldwide. Yeah, definitely check our store out and see what you like from there. We got a lot of stuff from our trips to Thailand there too. Not only our magnets are made from Thai paper. We went to this paper shop in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and got rolls and rolls and rolls for the cost because he wasn't having to pay to ship at the States, right?
Yeah.
So we did a lot of our magnets with that. We did a lot of our CDs. Yeah, so our Bandcamp is our #1 merch spot online. Find us online, listen, like, and subscribe. YouTube.
Hell yeah. There you have it, folks. My interview with Taylor from ManifestiV, just so that we don't get confused. Not ManifestiV.
All right.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you, everybody, for listening to my interview. And remember, everybody, that without music, life would be a mistake.